So in the beginning of the episode, Sunu says, "Tell me, what did you say?" Jojo says, "Now we are in the senior year. I have to make my AA aware." Sunu says, "So you are hurting me." Jojo says, "I am very tired. My feelings have also changed. Let's end this." Sunu says, "You said you love me. How did your feelings change suddenly?" Jojo says, "I don't know." Sunu says, "There must be someone. If you don't tell me, then how will I know?" Jojo says, "Don't talk to me after today," and goes like this. In the cafeteria, Sunu goes to sit in front of Jojo. Jojo says, "Go somewhere else." Sunu says, "Now you will do this." Jojo says, "I am feeling uncomfortable sitting with you." Everyone was looking at him. Sunu says, "How can you not like me?" He shouts loudly. Everyone go out within 10 meters. Everyone moves away. Sunu turns on his lap and says, "You also do whatever his lap tells you to do." Jojo's new message comes and Sunu says, "How is this possible?" Jojo says, "I told you I don't like you anymore," and sits down and starts eating. Sunu puts it in front of her and says, "A lot of love, Jojo, please love me like this again," and starts crying. Everyone was making up stories. Hung comes to Sonu and takes his hand. Coming down, Sonu starts leaving and says, "My mom must have told him something." Hung says, "Even if this is true, you will only make it difficult for her." Sonu says, "Should I give it to her like this? I don't understand. How did she change so quickly?" and he starts crying. On the other side, Jojo, who was lying next to her grandmother, says, "You can't leave me. If you go, I will be completely alone." Grandma pats her back, but she is unable to say anything. Suno was missing Jojo a lot. He was remembering all the good things about her, how happy they were together, and their love story was also rang. Now Jojo was sitting with Jojo at the bus stop. She ties her hair and starts running. Young was looking at her. The next day, Jojo tells Suno that this is the last time I am coming to meet you. Suno says, "Do you remember this place?" Jojo says yes. Suno kisses her and says, "Kiss your face." Jojo does it, and this time also Suno does not get the message. He gets very upset and says, "Tell me what wrong I have done. I will not do that to you. Do you like someone else?" Jojo says, "It is not like that." Suno says, "I want to kiss you." "Don't say all that," Jojo says. "I don't like you anymore." Suno says, "Look at me." Jojo looks at him. There were tears in Suno's eyes. He says, "How much more time do you need? It seems you still like me." Sunu goes to kiss her and Jojo moves away. Sunu looks at her and moves back and says, "You don't have a heart," and he goes there. Jojo starts crying. The scene shifts and comes to the present. Jojo remembers what Sunu said to her on the way. Sunu remembers when he went to meet her, Jojo's love alarm rang. He remembers. On the last day of school, Jojo was going home. Sunu was there and he starts crying after seeing her. Jojo goes away in front of him without saying anything. This scene was very hard touching. Sunu cries a lot for Jojo. Jojo does not return. Now the next day, Hung was sitting in the library. He was waiting for Jojo. Jojo comes running home to the basement because she got a message that 3 million rupees have been transferred from her bank account. Gulmi had withdrawn her money from the ATM account. Jojo rushes to the bank but does not find Arrow Gulmi. She calls her a lot. Arrow Gulmi does not even pick up the call. She comes to the store and tells her aunt that Gulmi stole my money. Her aunt says, "Then what are you doing here? Go and talk to her." Jojo says, "You know that was my college money. How can you say this?" Her aunt says, "If it was that important, then you should have taken care of that money. It is not my fault, so understand yourself." He was still waiting for her, hanging in the library. Arrow Gulmi comes home after doing a lot of shopping. Jojo says, "If you needed money, then you should have asked me." Gulmi says, "As if you would have given it to me. Anyway, I have taken it to join the batch club. If I become one, then I will get a chance to meet the developer of Love Alarm. Then I can do anything and I will return your money to you." Jojo says, "Look at yourself. How are you?" Gulmi says, "Do you think you are the only one working hard in your life? I also worked hard. I danced for 6 years. I used to stay till the last minute in the studio so that I could practice a song again and again." Joe says, "You want everything to be easy, whether it is becoming a singer or joining a band club. You just want to become famous quickly and live your life." Gulmi says, "You hate her, don't you?" and she throws all her books away. She tries to stop her. Arrow Gulmi doesn't stop and Joe comes down and starts picking up her books. Suddenly Ha Young comes and sees this. Gulmi throws the book back and Ha Yang picks up Jojo. Jojo moves away and says, "Go here," and starts picking up her books. Hung also starts picking up her books. Jojo says, "Didn't you hear?" Young says, "Yes, I heard. I can't leave you alone like this." Jojo says, "It's okay, I don't feel lonely." Young says because you have been alone like this for a long time. You don't even know how you are feeling. Jojo says how do you know, you don't even know me. To say all this Young says how can I not know when I have seen everything. By the way, have you ever been to the snowy day Han River? And then Hyang makes Jojo sit on his bicycle and brings her to Han River. Both of them were looking at the river. Hung says whatever is in your heart, say it loudly, then you will hear everything Jojo says. Hung says no, I will not listen, so you shout and say whatever you want to say, and Hyang runs away from there. Jojo crying says you should not have done this. Look at me, my mom and dad are not there. And I am completely alone. I feel very lonely. She shouts and says, Mom, I don't want to work. I don't want to take such time to college. I don't want to stay at Auntie's house. Young was listening to all this. Jojo says I still won't. I will live and find my happiness, I promise. And then she gets happy and tells Hyang you also say something, it feels very good. Hyang also shouts like this and Kim takes Jojo's name. Then both of them look at each other. Now Hung brings Jojo home and Jojo starts leaving. Hung says, Jojo, thanks for being alive. I will think more about how I can keep you and me happy. Jojo smiles looking at him and then Hyang goes there like this. Jojo comes running to the store and brings a drink to Hyang and seeing him says thank you for today and leaves like this. Hyang is very happy. Now at home, Jojo was thinking that someone who takes my name and thinks how he can make me happy. Then she saves Hyang's number and smiles. Now the next day, Gulmi and her mom were having breakfast when Jojo comes out and she gets a message from Hyang. May your day go well today. Jojo is happy to see this. Home, Hyang keeps her hand and goes to get breakfast when Suinhu comes and he sees Jojo's message, yours too. Seeing this, Suinhu says I will have breakfast later and leaves. Home, Jojo tells her aunt that today Gulmi will give me 2,000 rupees every month. Gulmi says can you return to me what you have stolen like this, and yes, you will also take care of the store. When I will be working in the wedding hall. Gulmi shouts why will I do that and asks her mother what is she saying. Her mother says did you hear that you will take care of the store? Instead of that, Gulmi gets very angry on hearing this and she gets up and leaves from there. Now Young's mother was buying for him. Young says can we live in another place? We have been living there for a long time. His mother says go try this first. When he was changing, his mother says outside that you can find another place. I will stay there. Hung says why? His mother says how can I live with one? People will talk. Now Hung comes out after changing. His mother says this looks very nice. We will take this only. Hung says won't you be alone? His mother says no. Now Jojo was going home. Then she sees that she has also received an invitation for Love Alarm 2.0 launching. She gets off at the bus stop and Hyang is there waiting for her. He says I am going to Busan. I have come here to grab some of my stuff, and then he takes her bag and leaves. Jojo says I don't have the time or the idea to date anyone right now, so forget about me. Young says you don't need to like me back. Because I like you. I just wanted to tell you how I feel. Now Sunu was very sad. Yug was talking like this. Suddenly he says that we should go back to the US. Yug says why, what happened? Sunu says nothing. I am just bored here and I don't feel like going to the presentation of Love Alarm either. Then he gets up and starts going to the theater. Yug comes to him and says okay, then we will not go to the presentation of Love Alarm. I also don't like what you don't like. Now Jojo comes home and remembers. Hyang had said that I deleted the Love Alarm a long time ago. I thought that would make things difficult. If I kept ringing your Love Alarm, then Arrow should have told you. What do I feel? Can I ring your Love Alarm? Jojo says in her mind that my Love Alarm cannot ring for anyone else. Now Gulmi was in life, then someone starts abusing her. She starts shouting at him, then everyone gives her life. Now only one person was looking at her. She feels that everyone has gone. She says I think I have been scammed for 3 million rupees. I am calling some numbers but no one is picking up the call. If I was from a rich family, I could have easily become a singer. And she starts crying and says my luck is very bad. You know I want to join the Batch Club. I want to meet the developer of Love Alarm. Please help me. Then suddenly someone sends her a lot of money. Jojo was cleaning when she gets a message from Hyang. Let's meet in the schoolyard at 6. I will do it. At home, Sunhu and Hung's mother were talking. She tells Sunhu that Hung is going to live in another place. Sunhu gets very angry on hearing this. He takes the car and reaches near Jojo's shop. On the other side, Hung was meeting Jojo. Sunhu looks inside the shop and this is where the episode ends. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. See you in episode 8.